Hi everyone. Today I'm with Priya Soni. Priya, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for inviting me.
She's a psychologist in training, and today we're going to talk about her journey with cancer. She is clear of cancer, but we would like to know everything you went through. So, when did you find out, and how were you diagnosed?
This is during COVID 2021, and at that time gyms were closed, everything was closed, and we got a trainer at home. And one of the rules of this trainer was you got to measure your BP.
Okay.
So all this time I was like, I'm sure I'm fine, my BP is fine. To my shock, it was 100 and something over 100 and something. Like it was really high. And we were really shocked, like what the hell happened.
So your BP was high,
Yeah,
but in your everyday life you couldn't
I
tell.
didn't realize it.
Okay.
Like, normally sometimes people say you get headaches and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing of the
Tiredness,
sort.
nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, tiredness was there
Okay.
actually. I used to get a bit more tired, but I thought maybe it's the heat, or you don't.
Age or
Yeah,
work and kids and home.
exactly. So then I decided to get checked. And when I got checked, so I found a lump on my breast.
So when you said you decided to get checked, you did a thorough full body checkup?
So I went to my doctor, the GP.
Okay.
So at that time, she was like, let's just check. So first she sent me for tests,
For blood.
blood tests, and yeah, as you said, body work tests. And during that time, we found a lump in my breast. So at that time, it did not seem cancerous. So they're like, you know what, just give it a bit of time. Let's leave it. I was on medication and all that.
Medication to dissolve it, or?
No, not for the lump, for the BP.
Okay.
Then 6 months later, so I was on medication all this time. I had a history of blood pressure from my pregnancy.
Okay.
So we assumed it's related to that. It was on and off. 6 months later, the lump started growing.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, something's wrong here. So I went back to the same doctor. And she saw it, she was like, go get an ultrasound done. Same day, we went to get an ultrasound done. Again, the technicians there, they're like, this is too dense, we can't tell, this, that. So we're like, we started getting scared. Took the results back. And she was like, no, I think you need to go to a specialist or somebody. So the next day, we booked an appointment with a surgeon.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't know, like this was a new world for us. And the guy's like, okay, just get a biopsy done.
Okay. By what time now are you like starting to get scared?
With the biopsy.
Okay.
We're like, okay, what is this? What's going on? Is it cancerous? Nobody's giving us any results.
And they won't tell you until they're sure.
Yeah, and nothing. So we went, I think his name was Dr. Asan, but I'm not so sure. Then in Aga Khan. So biopsy takes 21 working days. The results take 21 working days, right? You're like stressed out. You're wondering like, what the hell? Your life is almost turning upside down.
These are the longest 21 days ever.
I tell you. Then we get a message from Aga Khan, the results are out, and we go and get it. And the first word that comes out is carcinoma. First of all, if you've ever seen a biopsy result, it's Greek. The language, are like, what the hell? Can you tell us?
Not only biopsy, any results. Yeah,
it's Greek, yeah. And then the word carcinoma comes, and you're like wondering what the hell.
Yeah.
Went back to the same doctor. Again, with doctors, I don't know, is it because of what they see every day? There is no empathy. They'll just tell you in your face, like, you know what, yeah, you have cancer, you need to go see an oncologist.
Just like that?
Yeah, literally. And so Ravi was with me. Ravi's my husband. He was with me. He went back. Like, we're sitting in the waiting room. We went to the doctor. He gave us the results, came back. Again, I'm sitting in the waiting room. He goes back to confirm, are you sure it's cancer? The guy's like, yes, it reads carcinoma, it's cancer. And then we're like, okay, now what? Which oncologist? Who do you go to? Where do you start? So we booked an appointment with the oncologist in Aga Khan at that time. As a female doctor, again, I don't recall her name. So now that's where the horror story starts. So what happens? We went there, showed her the biopsy. She insisted we get a mammogram done, get MRI done, chest scan done, chest and abdomen scan done.
Just to
So
make sure that it's
yeah,
not
it's not
spreading
spread.
and
Exactly. So got all that done. So it's like after the 21 days, went back to the hospital. So it's like our lives were just revolving around that hospital with all these tests, getting all the results and everything. So once all that came, we went to her. And the first thing she says, yes, you have. So the kind of cancer I had is not the most common one. It's a lobular breast cancer. The other one is the lymph node. There's a lymph node breast cancer and another type. So mine was not based on the lump. The lump was just growing.
Oh.
If I didn't have a lump, the cancer would have spread without me even knowing that I had cancer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a very aggressive kind of cancer.
Okay.
So because of the size of the lump, they diagnosed it as stage 2. But the fact is it hadn't really spread so far, so we were lucky.
So it was still around your breast
Yeah, it was
area.
just still on my right breast.
Okay.
It was on my right breast. Yeah, I was still there. It hadn't spread.
Okay. So you wait a minute. So there's a type of cancer that doesn't form lumps. We could have it and we don't even know about it.
Absolutely.
Because the first thing people say is that you regularly check your breasts, and if you have any lumps, go to a doctor. But even without the lumps, there could be something.
Yes, there could be. Because the ones with the lumps is they come in the gland. This is in the lobes, which is inside the tissue of the breast.
Okay.
So you just can't tell unless it reaches a certain stage and you feel, all sort of sicknesses or whatever.
So your BP was a good sign. So
yes. Anything abnormal going on in your body,
get it checked.
you get it checked.
Okay.
And also lumps, because that was a lifesaver for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no
okay. So you went back to the doctor.
I went back to the doctor, and then the first thing she talks about is a mastectomy. Mastectomy is removing your entire breast. And then she talks about restructuring the breast again, and it was all scary. Like,
it is.
And it was all about aesthetics. Like, you lose your breast, it's fine. We'll get you another one. You'll be okay. And I was like, woman, I am about to get my whole life upside down. I mean, really? So with all that, and nothing about chemo, radiation, nothing. It was all about surgery at that moment. And we were like, who do we talk to? Where do you know? And then another cousin of mine had gone through the same thing. So at night, I was having a conversation with her, and she gave us the name of another doctor.
Okay.
His name is Dr. Marek.
Say in Kenya?
Yeah, he's in Kenya. He's in Mpisha.
Okay.
And currently, I think he's in Nanyuki. I'm not so sure.
Okay.
But he was an angel.
Okay.
So we went to him. And the first thing that doctor does is makes you feel like a human being. You exist. There's nobody else in the world. What you're feeling is absolutely fine. And he's so empathetic that you're like, okay, you'll find a solution in this. So his suggestion was, first was chemo, that we need to do chemo, surgery, and radiation.
Okay.
The reason he said chemo first is to kill the cancer cells. Because if you have a surgery first, you'll take about a month to recover. By that time, you may not have even got rid of all the cancer cells. So it might spread.
And then also your energy to sustain,
chemo and all that, yes, can be much worse.
So first chemo, then surgery for whatever's left, and then radiation.
Yes.
And did you go through with everything?
Yes. So he had a team at that time.
Okay.
So there was Dr. Vijay and Dr. Marek, who were based in Mpisha. So Dr. Vijay, very good doctor. I personally, I felt he knew what he was doing. So he got me on a aggressive dose of chemo. But before that, I had to get a port. So, you all know what chemo is, right?
Yeah.
Chemo is an IV transfusion.
Hmm.
And the medicine of chemo is very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put it through your veins will burn. So every time you have to get chemo, they keep on looking for different veins. And whenever I get needles pricked in, my veins are very, they're not, you can't see them, they're very deep.
Hmm.
So it meant going through a lot of pain over and over again. So the solution was to get a port.
A permanent port that
Yes,
is with you.
yes. So it's here.
Yeah.
I got a port here, and that
And
was
sorry, if they put chemo through that port over and over again, those veins don't burn?
no, because the port, there's a tube that goes directly to the blood.
Ah,
So it goes directly to the bloodstream, and there's no vein that it's attached to.
got it.
Yeah. So I had to get that. It's about a morning operation. Take about
Oh, that's
an
also an
hour.
operation, and you
Yes.
go through anesthesia and
Yes.
everything. Okay.
Yes. So the anesthesia is not like completely. You're slightly aware of what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's because it has to go inside the blood.
It's painful, so
It
they
is,
yeah.
yeah. Yes, I had to go through that. And before that, before the first appointment with the the doctor, sorry, Dr. Gill, that's when it hit that I have cancer. My whole life is upside down. And I have to go through chemo. And I was like, how am I supposed to go through this? That's when I literally had my breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily Ravi was there and he helped me. Ravi was there, my mom. My mom was my biggest support, and Ravi's sister Shivani. Those three really supported me at that time, but it was hard.
Yeah, because first of all, as you said, from the time you find out and then you're doing all these different tests and seeing all these different doctors, and then now you have this solution. So now you know exactly what you're going to do. So that's when it hit you.
Yes, because now the adrenaline rush has gone. Now you've got your path laid out for you. And now you know that the life that you know doesn't exist. And remember, this is during COVID.
Yeah.
So again, having chemo in your body means you cannot go out because your immunity doesn't exist. So even the threat of a little infection is very dangerous to you.
Yeah.
So knowing all that, I was like, what the hell is my life gonna be? And before that, love going out, working, activities.
Wow. And how did you deal with when you said you had a breakdown, and from breakdown to now acceptance, how did you deal with that?
At the time of breakdown, I actually just decided to numb myself with alcohol, to be honest. This is in the morning. I decided, like, I don't want to think about this. And I was in a state, so we had to miss that appointment. Then booked an appointment for the next day. And we're like, okay, we'll take it one step at a time. Let's just see what's happening. Let's go with the flow. And it was like, I don't have a choice. I have to get better. I have to be there for Arav, my son. At that time, he was 10.
And how did he take it? Because 10 is an age where they understand everything.
Surprisingly, he was very strong.
Yeah.
So what we did is immediately we found out, we sat down with him and told him, because we didn't want him to be kept in the blue. He needed to know what's going on with me.
I think that's the best thing you guys did, because giving him the power of including him in the decisions, or letting him know what's happening. He's with you guys, so he's part of the whole process as well. And I think the worst thing sometimes us as parents would do is not tell them thinking that, oh, they're kids, they can't handle it, but they can. And the best thing is for them to know, right?
And that made him feel part of us. And he was a very big support.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very big support. He never showed me a moment that he was in pain or he's scared, nothing.
Sometimes just him coming to sit with you would be like
Yes,
enough.
exactly.
It's just what you need.
Yeah. And so, where was I?
Sorry. Yeah. So you had put the port and
Yeah, so we went to meet the doctor, this like now the second appointment, and he told us exactly how it's gonna be. Luckily, insurance covers everything.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how to get to that because
Yeah.
all this
It's
costs
expensive.
so
It
much.
is. It is.
How many chemo did you
I
have to go
had
through?
6 sessions of chemo.
6.
Yes.
And forget chemo, even all this, just MRIs and scans, and just as soon as we have to go to the doctor, the bill starts
Thoughts, yes.
rolling.
And that is also something you're like, how am I going to afford all this? Because it's crazy. So we have an inpatient coverage. So the scans and all that was from our pocket. But because this was an operation, they took it as an inpatient. And the port inserting was taken as an inpatient
Okay.
procedure.
And what about chemo? Was that all that covered as well?
Yes, all that was covered.
Okay. All right. Now let's go through the painful talk of what happens after chemo.
So let's go to the chemo talk first.
Okay.
So I got the port and everything. I had to let it heal. Before you start chemo, you have to go through again a whole set of tests.
Oh.
Because the doctors need to be sure your heart is healthy, your liver is healthy, your kidney is healthy, everything is healthy. If not, they can't, because chemo is really toxic. So I had to go through ECG scans, echo, heart test, and name it. Like they have to keep on checking your blood counts. First session of chemo, it's like literally something you wouldn't want your worst enemy to go through. It's horrible.
Does it burn all through?
You get a horrible taste in your mouth, first of all.
Even though it's coming from here?
Yes.
Okay.
Your body, like you have no energy, you can't do anything. And my chemo, as I mentioned, was aggressive. So it was an alopecia cancer care from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
That's long.
Yes, and you don't even want to eat. You can't even think of food.
Some people feel like throwing up.
Yes.
Some people have headaches.
Yeah. And then go home. You go home, like I had to eat food because you have a whole bag full of medicines to take.
After chemo?
After chemo. To help your body, I think, the kind of like helping the side effects, but not like it helps, because the first night it's like my whole body was tingling, my nerves are hurting, I have no energy.
Your nerves are hurting?
Yeah, you get this pain in your fingertips, your toes. It was horrible.
Okay.
It was really horrible, and I have to go through that every 3 weeks.
6 times?
6 times.
Oh
so the first chemo was in July.
And okay. And how when does it get better? The second day, the third day?
So the first week you feel you're fine. The first week is when you're down. Second week you feel you're fine. Third week you're about to be, you feel almost normal, and it starts.
Because you go for the second one.
Because you have to go for the second one. So before I went for the second one, I got in, my port scar got infected.
Oh shoot.
And whenever you have fever during chemo, it's lethal. It's lethal. You cannot have a fever because you don't have any immune system remaining. So I was admitted to alopecia, again, COVID time. So because of fever, they have to make sure that I don't have COVID. They would not let me till I've got a chest scan or something to prove that I don't have COVID. And I was in extreme pains, like extreme pain at that time. Then they admitted me for 3 days. I was under isolation. I could not go out of the room. I was under, again, IV for antibiotics.
It's like your own little prison.
Completely. It was horrible. It was horrible. The third day I'm telling the doctor, please, let me go home. I'll imprison myself at home. I'll isolate myself at home.
Yeah.
I can't stay here.
At least it's your own house. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the doctor agreed, and I was staying at my mom's house at this time because I live in a joint family, and because of now my immunity, I couldn't be around people.
Okay.
So I was living with my mom, and Arav was staying with me and Shivani. So they literally imprisoned me in my mom's room. I couldn't get out, shower there, eat there. If I get out, it's when nobody's in the living room. And if there is, they're all wearing masks.
And were you given an antibiotic or something for your infection?
Yes.
Okay.
I was in medicine.
So did that delay your next chemo?
No.
Oh, okay.
I still had to go for my next chemo because my blood work was fine.
Okay.
And then that continued for 6 more chemos. Doctor insisted I have to walk. You have to. There's nothing like you can't. So I used to go to a short center at about 10 when there's no one. It's empty, quiet, and walk and then just ground myself because that really helped.
Okay.
And I used to do a lot of breath work. I read a lot about that. I got tips from nutritionists, but I couldn't eat. There's no taste. The only thing I loved was buttered toast at that time. Like that's the only
That
thing
got you through.
Yeah, and that tasted good.
And
my hair, yeah. So after the second chemo, I was combing my hair, and a lock came off, and that's when I told Ravi I need to shave my hair off because I'm like I can't keep on combing my hair, and
because with every strand, you just feel so down and depressed, right?
So he shaved my hair off, and Shivani and I shaved Ravi's hair off. It's like, I want to be with you during this.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, so we did it together, and then we video called the family, and they're just like, yeah, you guys are together in this. It was really sad. And whenever we see this in movies or something triggers, all that comes back because it's so painful. And what they don't show in the movies, your eyebrows go as well. You have 0 hair in your body, and my eyebrows went as well. Later than my hair, but 3rd or 4th chemo, and I looked like an alien. It was really bad. Yeah. Wow. Weak, and you're very weak. And going out, I couldn't go out because I was isolated.
And then it's COVID time, so
yeah, I had to be isolated. So we used to go to places like Brakenhurst or Kentmere, or at that time German Bakehouse, because there was no one there. Okay. And at times when no one is there. Okay. So literally, the chemo lasted from July to October. I was literally indoors with just these 4 people for company.
But bless them, at least you had those 4 people, right?
I'm so grateful for them. They were my support system. Without them, this wouldn't have worked at all. Oh. And Mom especially, because she really looked after Arav. I didn't have to worry at all. I could just focus on me getting better. If she wasn't there, it would have been very difficult.
But this is, recently on your social media, you've started posting your reflections. And it just makes me think about all the people that you had and how grateful, obviously, you are. And I don't think any of us need to even go through or even want to go through what you've gone through to count our blessings, right?
But that's a sad bit. We don't count our blessings till we go through something really tough.
Yeah, when's the last time, like I told my mom that I love her? When's the last time I appreciated anybody in my life?
Exactly. And we take life for granted so much, but not knowing that you don't know when your world's going to turn upside down, and you don't know who's going to be there for you. And I was really, really lucky. And also my in-laws, like, they were a good support. They were there. They used to send food. They used to come and visit me. It was really good. But without mom, nah, it wouldn't have been possible, honestly. Yeah.
Wow. Eh, it's I can't even I don't even know what you went through. Like seriously.
So during that time, I had a lot of reflections. So I used to read a lot
Okay.
because, mind you, I've been working all my life. I've been on the go, and now all of a sudden, well, I could have worked if I wanted to, but I didn't. I did not want to work from home. I just wanted to recover.
Okay.
So this is the first time in my life I have ample of time on my side. I cannot do anything. I used to be a workout junkie. Like I had to go to the gym, I had to work out, I had to do something. Now was the time I had to be.
Yes.
So that transition was, I would say that's what I needed.
Okay.
I needed to learn how to just be, to learn how to just allow somebody else to take care of Arav, allow Ravi and mom and everyone else to figure his life out, not me, and allow myself to be in the backseat.
Wow, it's hard.
It was, it was hard because you're that person, you want to constantly be on top of things. You want to know what your kid's doing at every moment. You want to know if they've eaten, if they're gone for whatever activities, how they've done in their exams, this, that.
But
But
you're
at
just forced to like
this
give up
moment, you
control.
can't because you have no energy. Like even to go for a walk is a mission, or to eat food, you have to think. Like, you can't eat it. You don't like the taste of food. Your favorite foods no longer exist.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And this is the time you're forced to take care of yourself.
exactly. And
Because
there's no distraction
no.
because you're in that area, you're isolated.
Yeah.
So who do you focus on? You got to focus on yourself. You got to go
Exactly.
inward. And that is what I did. I started listening to a lot of spirituality,
Wow.
reading a lot, breath work. I tried.
Any books that come to mind that
No, there were
shape?
so many. Well, Thich Nhat Hanh.
Okay.
Thich Nhat Hanh's Book of Silence, the Book of Communication. I used to really read that. I used to listen to Sister Shivani,
Okay.
Brahma Kumaris a lot. I used to do a lot of. I used to listen to Sadhguru a lot at that time as well. And those are the things that helped me get through and figure out that probably this is a meaning. I have to go through this for a reason. And that is when I started accepting instead of fighting my cancer,
Yeah.
and started looking at it as a blessing. That yes, I had to go through all this. Yes, it was horrible, but it taught me a lesson.
A really important
Very
lesson.
important
Yeah.
lesson, because in our daily lives, what do we do as women? When do we put ourselves first? I would say about my mom, my mother-in-law, a lot of women I know,
Never.
it's all everybody else is fine, and then you.
And if ever, by whatever, chance they do something for themselves, do you know the amount of guilt they feel?
Exactly. And why is that? Because we're conditioned to be people pleasers. That you put yourself, if somebody praises you is when you feel good. We're always looking for external validation.
Exactly.
But this is the time you got to fill your own cup to pour. And that's an analogy I always use when you're in the airplane. What's the first thing that air hostess says? You got to put your own oxygen mask first before your child's or your spouse. Well, why
Exactly.
don't we do that in day to day?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
And that
Why
was
don't
one
we?
of the realizations I got, because I realized that's what I was doing. I was always pleasing everyone else. Yes, I love the gym. But was I going to the gym as a self-care? No, it's something that you have to do. You have to look good. You have to look fit. You have to be this. Not this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And okay. So after all this, now that's such an important lesson that you've talked about. You know what? I'm going to do something for myself. I don't know
Exactly.
what, but I'm going to do something
You
for
have
myself.
to. You have to, because if you don't, it will come back in these ways. And also, when we have, so I, one of the authors, actually, I forgot to mention, I used to listen to this meditation whenever I got chemo. It's the morning meditation by Louise Hay.
Okay.
So, Louise Hay is a world famous author who's no longer with us, but she managed to heal her cancer through diet, through healing, forgiveness, talking to people, like all inner work. And one of her messages is forgiveness, right? You got to forgive people. You got to let out all your resentments. And she has a book which is called You Can Heal Your Life, and you can follow that. And there's another one which is Heal Your Body.
Okay.
And it shows that sometimes all these illnesses are actually manifestations of emotions we have suppressed. So for cancer was actually deep resentment, and especially right breast was deep resentment. And that made sense because from childhood we go through a lot of stuff. Living in a joint family, you go through a lot. um, do we and in our society, in our culture, there is no space where you can actually vent it out.
Or even where's the time to just sit back and actually reflect? Like from nursery to university, then we start work, then we start our married life, then we have kids, it's just a it's just a marathon. It's like a race. Yeah. When do we actually
Yes.
give ourselves time to just reflect?
And when do we have that? Do we ever have a safe space where we can reflect?
No.
Where, when I talk to this person, the person not going to judge me. The person will let me be.
And the tools that you've just talked about, like forgiveness and breath work, like you were
Yeah.
forced to look for all these things,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
you're like, there's no other way.
Exactly.
If you don't do all these things, you're going to burst, or
Yes.
you
Either
won't be able to handle it.
yeah, you'll blame the cancer. You'll put yourself in the victim that it's happened to me,
Yes.
instead of it's happened for a reason, or I can learn something from this, right?
Everything that you've talked about, I actually did a course on it. It's called Healthy Relationship Program. And we go through all this. And every week, there's a building block that we have to do. And we had to write a forgiveness letter to ourselves. First of all, I didn't know, like, forgiveness letter to myself for what, And then once I started writing, dude, I'm crying and I'm writing. There was so much.
Yes.
And we don't realize.
Yes.
And the breath work and
Yeah.
everything that you've just spoken about.
Yes.
And the gratitude and
Yeah.
telling your loved ones, that you love them because, yeah.
Yeah. And that is what cancer has taught me. I'm grateful that I did get that. I'm grateful that I got that 1 year to myself. Yes, I'm not happy about the way it happened,
Yes,
but I'm
no.
actually grateful it happened, because otherwise I'd be stuck in the rat race.
Yeah.
I'd be stuck in figuring things out, people pleasing, and not thinking about me.
Now imagine the freedom you've got, yeah? Like you don't have to please the whole world. It's just
Yeah,
yourself.
you give yourself permission.
Yeah.
You actually give yourself permission. And you're like, you know what? If this doesn't work for me, it's okay.
It's okay.
If I'm really angry at you, it's okay.
It's okay.
I don't have to explain my emotions to you. I accept them and let them out.
Oh my God,
Because
it's so
that's
profound.
what emotions are,
Yeah.
right? What do we do? I had a conversation with someone this morning, and the person was talking about the anger that they were feeling. Immediately after that, talking about the anger, the straight away the logical mind comes, but I learned this from this. I'm like, no. Allow the anger to come. Feel the anger. Don't let your logical mind take over, because that's what we do. We justify our emotions. We want to find a reason as to why I'm feeling this, so it's okay for you to feel this. Absolutely not. It's okay to feel how you're feeling, irrespective of a justification. Emotions are emotions.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what happens. You suppress your anger, you suppress your rage, you suppress your hurt, your pain, your jealousy, whatever it is. it's gonna manifest.
Yes. So after doing the work on myself, I was now looking at how do I teach my kids all these tools that I've learned. And what you've said, there was a book I was reading and it said, all the emotions are your friends, even if it is anger or joyfulness, doesn't matter. They're both yours, and you have to embrace both. So all the ones that we call negative and all the ones we call positive, there's nothing like that. They're all your friends. So the language was to obviously talk to kids, so they said friends. So coming to this, how you've changed now as a person, obviously definitely shows in your family as well, right? And then how you teach all this to Arav, isn't it?
Absolutely. And exactly what you said. So, one thing I learned, I read about it. If you allow your emotion, if you just allow yourself to feel it, within 90 seconds, it's out of your body. It just takes 90 seconds. But if you suppress it and put it inside you, it takes a disease like cancer for it to come out. And that is what we need to teach people, that it's fine. And especially courses like healthy relationships, you're learning that it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to put yourself first. It's all right to feel everything you're feeling. And everything in your life is a lesson that you got to learn. But looking at it like that, you know, again, happening for you, not to you, right? The words you use. And in that case, my relationship with Arav, my relationship with Ravi has really changed because I've learned how to communicate. We don't know how to communicate.
You just shut off. There are
We
days I've gone
freeze.
2 or 3 days without talking to my husband just
We,
because I'm boiling inside.
that's another thing. What's your fight language? What's your stress language? Understanding that about yourself so you can communicate that, look, this has happened. I need this much time to cool down.
So now I'm able to say that this has happened. Just give me an hour and then let's talk about this. And also in that tone, not shouting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Previously it was all shouting and blaming, and now there's no blame because
Yes.
yeah, it's a problem that we're all facing. How do we solve it? Initially it was like, whose fault was it?
Yeah, you're blaming. It's like
Yeah.
you versus him. Now you've changed the narrative to us versus a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time I was like, it was your fault. It was, and now you're like, no, it's something we got to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And when you start doing that, and you start seeing your kids seeing that, it's a profound shift in your family.
Yeah.
And conversations happen.
And people
Yeah.
are open to conversations. Yeah. And
Yes.
you've got a teenager. I'm about to get there. And this was so scary like 2 3 years ago, thinking about how am I going to teach my kids, to communicate better and feel all these things, because even I didn't know what the right things were, what the tools were. But I think now, I don't think I'm fully equipped, but at least I know a little. And
One
obviously I know that there is books out there, or there is stuff out there that I can read as well and learn.
So one important thing I learned, especially as I have a teenager and he's 15 now, is to be vulnerable with them. Allow them to see you at your worst, right? So he was there during my cancer journey. After chemo, I had surgery. I had a mastectomy, so my whole breast was removed.
So you had single or double?
Single mastectomy,
Okay.
right? And then I had to recover. Like it took me about a month to recover. That was December. Then in January, after I healed, I had to go for 35 sessions of radiation. Yeah, and that was now, at that time, the best radiation machine was in Nairobi West Hospital. Mind you, before Expressway was even there. It was still under construction. So every
It's a
day,
whole day.
I had to go for 1.5 hours going and coming back for a 5-minute radiation scan. So it
This
was
is, and radiations happen like every
every day,
day for
Monday
35
to
days. So
Friday.
this is like,
Yeah, every day I have to go and come back. And radiation is even more draining than chemo because it's daily and it sucks the energy out of you. So all through that journey,
and this is right after your operation.
yes, so
Because
after I healed, yes.
okay, you healed your
Yeah, I
obviously
had to
scar,
heal.
but your body's still
Yeah,
weak,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because to heal from any surgery, it's longer than
yes.
obviously.
And this was a massive surgery. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was there through the whole journey. He saw me at my worst. So that actually brought us closer. And then after that, also, I learned how to talk to him. And whenever you're feeling something, I was like, if I don't share, he's not going to learn how to. And with anything, you got to practice what you preach. They got to see you.
Exactly.
If they see you, they'll mimic. Because if you talk and you do something else, they're only going to do what they see you do.
Yeah. And there's another so I even did a course on conscious parenting, and there she said your kids are watching and learning from you even when they're not with you,
Absolutely.
because how you are all the time, like, so we recently went to Japan, and you know, there they have trains and metros, so we get seats, but sometimes you see elderly or pregnant women and stuff. So I would get up and give my seat. By the end of our trip, which was just 15 days, I saw my kid doing that without me telling him. I had tears in my eyes. I said, this trip was worth it because, you know, he learned kindness, and he didn't learn it by me telling him. He saw us doing it. And you're completely right. Like, they'll do exactly what we do.
We are their mirrors. 100%.
They're like sponges, right?
Yeah, however, how you talk to people, how you act, the food you eat, if you like exercising or if you like watching movies, they're going to do exactly what you do.
Yeah.
So whatever you want them to learn, you got to do it.
Yeah, because for the longest time now, when we step out of the house, we take a book with us. Because if I'm in any waiting area or restaurant and stuff, we'll have conversations. But if we're not talking, we'll just start reading. So last week we were at this restaurant, and my kids are tired. It's evening, but they're reading their books. This gentleman comes, and he's like, "Well done. You're the only kid I've ever seen reading a book."
And not on their screen.
Not on their screen.
Yes.
And you're right, like, we had to change first before we could even tell them to do anything.
Absolutely. And that's actually brilliant. I like that because right now, everywhere you go to a bank, you go to a hospital, you go anywhere, you're sitting on a bus stop, train station. I saw that in Singapore. Everyone is on their phone. Everyone. It's
Yeah.
like you're so isolated. You're not making conversation. You're not allowing yourself to be bored. You're not, just observing. And by creating this habit of reading a book, amazing.
We're not 100% as well, but,
but it's a
little, small
yeah,
steps.
It's really brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to do what works for us, right?
You have to. And
Yeah.
as you said, it starts from you.
Yeah.
So all this is what I've been learning all this time and still learning. And because of cancer, and especially realizing the safe space, no judgment, is what inspired me to start to learn how to be a psychologist. And immediately my radiation ended. This is in March. In May, I enrolled at USIU. I wanted to get a master's degree in clinical psychology. But because my bachelor's was in business, I had to do a few undergraduate courses. So my first term was undergraduate courses. And then from September, I enrolled in the master's program, which lasted for 2 years.
Amazing. And how
Yeah.
many more months or years have you got?
No, so now all I have to do is graduate and
Okay.
I get my degree. and my license. Yeah. So
And there's another thing, like, you've got a degree, but you didn't stop. You know, life showed you something, and you studied at this age. You know, with your kid, even, like, you know,
yes.
you guys might be even sitting and studying
Yeah,
together.
yeah, we were, and that's what inspired him as well to study, to focus more on his exams. Because like mom's also studying at this age, and it was hard going back to school after 15 years. Oh my god, it was tough. Like you
Yeah.
don't realize your brain is like going back to memorizing and assignments, and it was
But
tough.
because you chose this, because you know you were passionate about this, nobody had to tell you. Uh, you know, it's more enjoyable.
Yes. And I could see the end line. Like, I want to open a space where people can come and talk, because that is what is lacking,
A safe
a
space
safe
for.
space. Because everywhere, like, I also share a lot of posts on LinkedIn. And one of the posts I shared is like where people feel talking to your friend is equivalent to therapy. It really is not, because when you talk to a friend, the friend comes with their own past experiences, their own triggers, their own biases. And when you say something, automatically what they hear is, what would I experience if I was going through this? And the advice you get will be based on that,
Okay.
not this is what happened to her and what is the best way I can help her get through this without your biases coming in the way.
Okay, so that's the safe space you're
That's
talking
the
about.
safe space, because that's what stops us from talking about our deepest things to friends.
Hmm.
We're scared of being judged. We're scared of them looking at us in a different light. We all have vulnerabilities, we all have our inner demons, yeah, but we can't reveal them because of this fear. And
True.
that is why then you start having defense mechanisms. Start you start numbing yourself with screens, social media,
Food.
food, alcohol, drugs, exercise, work,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, anything to
Anything.
stop you from feeling and thinking.
Wow. Amazing. I'm looking forward to more of your posts, especially the one that you talked about where you reflected on the movie,
The
the
list.
list.
Yes.
And it's after you shared, I watched the movie. And yeah, you're right. We don't have to go through something as scary as what you went through um, to have our list, or to even fulfill our lists, or to live fully in life. So keep on sharing the thoughtful, you know, insights, and thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me here. I'm really glad I could share my journey. And one thing is, I just want everyone to know, anytime you feel your body's different, you feel a lump in your breast or anything different, get yourself checked. You
Don't take it for
don't
granted.
wait. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it lightly.
It could be, you know what, once you've checked it and it's nothing, it's better.
It's better. Then when you check it, when you ignore it and it becomes something you do not want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing. Thank you so much. How was it for you?
Good. It's like
Yeah?
a normal conversation.
Oh, good. Oh my God, you had so many good insights. It was amazing.